y'all see Borat?
Yes.
I asked everybody to try to watch Borat, that trash-ass fucking movie. Did y'all watch the whole thing? Be honest. How far did you get in?
I got through it.
You got through the whole thing?
I got through it.
Did you watch the whole thing?
I got through the whole thing because you said we had to watch this shit.
So I tried. I got through 25 minutes, and I had to turn it off.
Did you see the Giuliani thing? That's the thing worth watching.
Yeah, that was the part. That was the main thing we had to see it in.
Bro, I literally
fucking kidding me, yo.
I know, right?
You didn't watch the Giuliani part?
Kidding me,
I didn't watch that part.
I don't even,
fucking kidding
real
me,
talk. I don't even think he watched 20 minutes.
Son, I swear to God, I watched 20 minutes.
What happens in the first 20
That's not
minutes?
good.
What happens in the first 20 minutes?
I swear to God, I'll watch.
No. What happens in the first 20 minutes?
movie.
What happens in the first 20 minutes?
Oh, Borat drops a bottle and cuts his foot. You know, and then he goes to the hospital. He's like, oh, my foot, my wife.
Those Jews!
The Jews broke my foot.
Okay, first 20 minutes, he's locked up. He was in Kazakhstan. They take him out. He's like, we want you to deliver this monkey to Mike Pence. And then he does through all the things where he sees his girl or his daughter. He meets his daughter. Right? And then he goes to America, and then the daughter is...
Oh, spoiler alert, guys. Sorry, spoiler alert.
Yeah, no, I saw the first 25 minutes.
Okay.
I swear to God.
Is that right? I didn't watch that shit. So
It's literally unwatchable. If you guys were thinking of watching it, it is mind-bogglingly how unfunny Sacha Baron Cohen is. I was watching it with my girl, and she literally turns to me at one point, my fiance, excuse me, and she turns to me at one point. And she goes, did we find this funny when we were kids?
It's not as good.
And I want to hear you guys' thoughts as to why you thought it wasn't as good, because I think there's a specific reason.
Yeah,
but
you think, because you only watched 20 minutes of the fucking movie.
I want to hear about the Giuliani thing, but
yeah.
just the first 25 minutes, and then I turned the fucking thing off. It was so bad. I think he's not funny enough where if people know that it's a joke, they'll still laugh. He's funny enough where if it's a prank and that person doesn't know that it's him, we're laughing at that person reacting to him being serious.
Yes.
But he's not comedically talented enough to write jokes that permeate the person being in on the joke. The first 25 minutes really just showed like people having a great sense of humor. It was like they were like half in on it, half not. You know what I mean? I laughed once at the guy at the phone store because that guy didn't know what he was or what he was doing. Yeah. But anybody that knew what he was into or got the game more or less and they were going along with it, I was like, this is unwatchable. Yeah. And it really exposed how like unfunny he is. Yeah. His real, honestly, like the real thing that like is so amazing about him is his balls.
Yes. Yeah, he's brave.
He's brave, but and I admire bravery, don't get me wrong. But his bravery is mitigated when everybody knows who he is. It's like his career can only hit a certain level because his career is based on you not knowing who he is. Yeah. And once knowing him is ubiquitous, right? Once we all know him, you've killed your own career. Yeah. Because you're not funny enough to actually write jokes that people who know that you're making jokes will laugh at.
Right. Each character gets like a movie.
He does address
Each character gets one movie and then it's out. Yeah.
He does address that.
But in the beginning.
Yeah.
In the beginning, he tries to, everybody knows me. So the device is, I'm going to have my daughter.
Yes.
Which will essentially be me. But the daughter can't really live without him. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's why the daughter's like, can I be a journalist too, et cetera? And the jokes are kind of fine.
Because that's the only way you can make it work.
Exactly.
But I don't say that he's not funny enough. He's not just not our kind of funny.
Yeah.
His funny is his balls, but that is to be admired. And then when he's in that character, he can say funny things. Like in the first Borat, when he asked the feminist what she believes, and she's like, man, men and women are equal. And then he just laughs in her face. That's like a funny
It's hilarious.
thing. Yes.
But then you know the game, and you're like, oh, this is just what you do. You're just going to say.
Once you know the character's him, it's like, okay, there's nothing to do. And so they had to maneuver around it. Mm-hmm. And the first one, that wasn't the case. And that's why it was so funny, because nobody knew.
And it was brilliant.
And Ali G was brilliant.
I used to love watching him prank the people. That was great.
Yeah.
But it's no different than any other prank show. Like, we acted like, I think he likes to see, because he's like an Oxford educated dude, he likes to see himself doing like some like cultural satire. And I see what he does as no different than what the Nelk boys do. Like, there's this kid who's absolutely hilarious. Salim, he's on Instagram. Yeah. And he goes up to people and he moans in their ear.
Oh, yeah.
There's no difference between moaning in someone's ear in the grocery store and, like, trying to do this, like, culturally savvy thing. And I'm going to use sexism as a game to have some meta joke about how we view women in this world. It's like, that wasn't the funny part. It's just funny that person doesn't know that you're making jokes.
I'm going to push back a bit. But
Go. Push back. Yeah.
It is in the same way that people in an audience just laugh at stand-up jokes and like it's funny or it's not. And then we, who actually do the thing, are like, nah, there's more elevated stuff to this, to what we're doing.
Yeah.
I think there's more elevated stuff. And the character he's playing is different than just moaning in an ear. It's a character. Now, what I don't like about it is I think he's poking fun at, he's looking down on a lot of people from kind of a condescending place. And it's like, you haven't seen this part, but obviously he's a Jewish dude.
Okay, Sean King, keep going.
The only part that has Jews, he goes into a synagogue and he does his jokes of like, oh, you're the devil, please don't eat me, whatever. Yeah. But then he shows the sweetest, most accepting, open-minded Jewish woman in the world. Mm-hmm. She's fucking amazing. She's like, Gila, you love this woman.
Exactly.
That's the only depiction you have of a Jewish person. And then everything else is jokes about Middle Eastern people and how they hate women.
Toothless
or rednecks
white people.
And how they're stupid. And
Kazakhstanis are, I mean, like, the fact that he acts like he's doing something that's like against racism, I think his charity is like Stop Hate for Profit. I don't know if that's sarcasm or not. Can you look it up? But that's what's on his Twitter. Mm-hmm. It's Stop Hate for Profit, I think is his charity. And it's just like, that's your life.
Yes. Yeah.
Your life is profiting off of hate and like finding people and making them look the most hateful as they possibly could be.
And if he made fun of Jews too and everybody got that smoke, hey, I can't hate on it.
Yeah. So Kazakhstanis, I'm wonder how Kazakhstanis feel about it. They're pedophiles, they incest, they fuck their sister, they live in these, what's that?
It's not his charity, but it is like a movement.
It's an actual real movement?
Yeah, it's against like, it's against like Facebook ads.
But how detached can you be? Like, you promote the same hate. You are Facebook. All you do is a movie.
Defense, I think he would say, "Oh, I'm playing a character, and I don't believe that in real life."
But what you're doing is selectively editing these clips and finding ways to make these people look as racist as they possibly can, as misogynist as they possibly can, as sexist as they possibly can, and then cutting all the stuff that makes people, especially Americans, because this is a satire on America, Americans that don't look like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you're cutting every single bit of footage that shows, Americans are pretty reasonable and they just don't really care about your little...
there are funny bits within it, though. It's not nearly as good as the first one, because it can't be.
He was so funny. I just want to point out, I thought he was so hilarious. And there were some amazing pieces that he did in the past.
Even the Who is America stuff, I thought there were funny sketches.
I couldn't get through a lot of Who's America.
Really? I didn't see full episode. I just saw sketches. And
like, he also does expose a lot of, like, you're like, wow, there's some truly dumb people in America. Yeah. And those are Southerners. I feel bad looking down, but you're like, wow, you really believe this shit, huh? You're like truly internet educated.
You can find those people in the North too. Yeah. Like, he just takes tropes. Yeah. And that's what I don't like, because if, like you said, if somebody did that with Jews, he would feel a certain way about it. Like, if somebody did that with Muslims, Muslims would feel a certain way about it. It's so easy to just handpick groups that you already have these stereotypes about and then lean into those.
Yeah. And it's very low-hanging fruit. And I think the reason why you felt the way you did was because the first one came out in 2006.
Yep.
We were early 20s.
Kids, yeah.
And the stuff that he was saying was even way more edgy than this one was. So it's like, we're young. Our brains aren't as like
also
woke as we are now.
Though, it's funny. It might not be as funny as it was.
Say your point.
Like, our brains weren't as like necessarily woke as we are now. So to be a young 20-year-old and you just see this guy just ripping cultures and being silly about it, and this is on movie theaters, you're like, holy shit, this guy's insane. And we're laughing at the fact that he has so much balls to say that type of shit. Yeah. Right now, we're looking at it, it's like, oh, you're not really taking that big of a risk, because now it's like, we know you're just playing a game. And me watching this now, it was so bad because I see the cuts in it. And because I'm on the production side. So I see half the things that I thought he was getting away with saying, he isn't. He says the shit after the fact, and then they cut a regular response. Like, it's so bad. Fake. Yeah, it's so fake, and that's what pissed me off, because I fell for it the first time.
Yeah, to respond to that, is it like, if he's saying things when they're not there, one, now you lose all the bravery. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? And two, you're not representing their response.
Yeah.
It's not real.
But the first one's like that too. I watched the first one right after.
So he's a fraud.
I watched the first one right after, and there's times that you can see when he's talking to somebody, there's a completely different angle, and the time of day, you can tell, like, the lighting is different.
So
I think he was in a lawsuit, I'm pretty sure, over the first one. That I'm pretty sure he was on a bus with a bunch of kids, and they were talking about shit. And then the kids, they were like college kids at like some college.
Yeah, University of South Carolina or something like that.
They're
Like
yeah,
some Southern boys.
He
right.
gets them drunk.
Gets them drunk and starts saying wild shit. I think they sued him. I think they settled. I'm not positive the details.
So
I
they
can
were
look it
saying
up.
it's wow.
I remember
shit,
that.
son.
But they were
saying
like,
some
oh, I
uncomfortable
was
shit.
baited. We didn't get permission to be whatever. Like
Yeah.
he entrapped us. Whatever.
Because he like
The shit they were saying, like a lot of N-word shit and all that. Like,
Was
you
it?
ain't
Was it?
entrapping
I
me.
can't defend that.
I'm pretty sure it's
I
a.
don't.
I think don't
Like
put the N
it
word on
was
somebody
racist
if you
stuff.
don't know
I don't
for a
actually
fact.
remember them saying the N word,
Yeah.
but they were just saying how like women are lower class citizens. They're just there. Like one dude was just like, "Oh, I don't respect women. I just fuck them and that's it." Like they were saying some real
Well, I'll double
chauvinistic
check.
shit, and it's like the way it's cut. It's so bad.
So-
I think the judge sided with Borat.
They did.
Yeah,
Side
I
of the
think so.
Borat. But the point is like you kind of got to be like a bad person to do that to somebody, and you justify it through going, well, look at these evil people. I'm just poking fun at people who are evil, and it's like, well, you're kind of putting them in situations so they're evil.
Yeah.
Right? Like they're not going up to you and saying, hey, can I say the N-word on your camera? Can you promote it to the entire world? You're getting them drunk and charging them up and like making them be like fratted out bros to say stupid shit.
Yeah, I think he told him like the movie will never be shown in America.
You're lying to them about what it is. Like,
It's like going in the locker room, recording the conversation, and then just putting it for the world to see.
But at the same time, you shouldn't say racist shit on camera.
exactly. No
that-
one's giving pushback real quick. No one's giving pushback to that, right? You shouldn't be saying this stuff, but there is something to be said about a dude who like just him in general. The older I get, the more I realize what a fucking scumbag this dude, Sacha Baron Cohen, is. It's like, you really are just gonna like take advantage of people's kindness, especially their kindness in like bringing you into their home. Like people bring him into their home, bring him
Yep.
into their businesses,
I felt that too.
bring him into their work, right?
Yeah.
Like they welcome him willingly, try to make him feel uncomfortable. And then he like sneaks in, takes advantage of them, makes them look as bad as they possibly can to make millions of dollars and ruins their reputation in their own community. You got to be a horrible human being to live with that. And then you go masquerade or stop hate for profit. Shut the fuck up. Like, who the fuck are you? You are hate for profit.
Yeah, he plays on a lot of tropes.
It's like-
And I actually liked certain scenes. Like he goes and stays with those dudes who I was saying like, oh, they're pretty dumb.
Yeah.
But the dudes don't really say anything racist. They're like, death to Democrats. Democrats did this. And maybe I'm misremembering, but I don't remember them being like, I thought the show was about to get uncomfortably racist. And it didn't. They hate the fuck out of Democrats. And Wuhan might have been started in China or something like that, but not like, these fucking, and then racial slur. So it almost like, I almost looked at it like, oh, look, we're not as hateful as you think. We put up with a lot of your shit. We invite you into our home and we won't have it, but we're not as hateful as you think.
Let me ask you a question, Akaash. How would you feel as an Indian, right?
Yeah.
If an English person went to India, that's what Sacha Baron Cohen is, English, went to India and did a whole fucking movie about how dumb Indians are, how backwards Indians are, how racist, how hateful Indians
100%
are.
wouldn't like it. 100%.
Why do we let other motherfuckers, outsiders, come into our shit and become millionaire and celebrities clowning us?
And again, the thing that bothers me, the thing I respect about us is everybody gets smoke. Everyone gets smoke. I'll make fun of Indians. You'll make fun of white people.
But that's family business, though.
That's what I'm saying.
That's us.
And that's-
we could do it because we live it. We're friends. We know each other. Who are these fucking outsiders coming here acting like they know our culture and then talking about our shit?
But if we were selective, if every time you made an Indian joke, I was like, yo, cut that out of the podcast, yo. That's not cool. Leave that out. Don't put that in. Then it'd be like, yo, you're being selective about who you make fun of. Fuck you. Sacha Baron Cohen, there's a lot of jokes about anti-Semitism and killing Jews and whatever, but he doesn't ever poke fun. You could poke fun at some stuff in the Jewish culture.
everybody could get them jokes.
That
If
shit
everybody
that shit
got
made
them
me
jokes, I'd be with it.
made it?
Everybody.
Just the shit he was like constantly getting at Jews, the way he was doing it, it was uncomfortable. It was like so cringy.
Because he's trying to trigger a reaction which would agree with it, right?
Yeah, and I'm just like, ugh.
Like, remember he did that joke about, like, how many would kill a gypsy? If I want to kill 20 gypsies with the tank of gas or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I laughed at that because it's a crazy thing to say to somebody.
Yeah.
It's a crazy line, right?
And it's crazy how the guy just responds he's
Yeah.
like, yeah, you need the bigger one.
Yeah, you need the bigger. But he's in on he's like, oh, I know what you're doing, buddy. I'll play this fucking game with you.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I just like, to me, like, there's something wrong with you, bro.
There's still some ballsy shit though. Like,
There's no love. Sorry to interrupt, but like, there's no love in it, bro. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I think I come from a place where I make fun of motherfuckers for a living, but there's love in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm making fun of you, you know that there's love. Like, I know something about your culture. I appreciate that thing about your culture, and you kind of feel safe with it, right? And I'm not trying to do a comparison thing, but like, there's love in that roast, you know? And I don't see any love in this, man. I don't see him going, I think Southern culture is beautiful and fun, and these guys are great characters, and like, I just want to showcase how they're fun, but also showcase some other shit. This is just, you're dumb.
I wish they showed the punked moment. That would make it a little bit better.
Oh, when they showcase how it's been.
Yeah. Like, it just show after the fact, just like, hey, guys, I'm just being silly with you. Or something. Like, at least lift that down so I don't feel bad for that person that you just used.
You used, bro.
To, you know.
Does that make sense?
Entertainment.
Yeah, there's got to be heart in it.
There's got to be some heart in it, bro.
Yeah, I mean, there doesn't have to be, but like otherwise it just kind of sits weird.
Bro, I swear to God, we put out clips every week. I defy you to find a clip where you don't see some fucking heart in it, bro. I don't care how vicious the roast is. It's not fun for me if I'm making someone feel horrible, man. That's not what I'm into. Do you know what I mean? It's like we're roasting
We don't
you
wanna
because
bully.
we love you, bro.
Yeah.
It's not. That's what it's about. That's what we do on this podcast. This is why everybody feels safe to get made fun of on this podcast. Y'all will kill me on this very podcast about personal shit. I don't care. We just spent the first 10 minutes ripping you. There's some love in it. It's like when I see a whole movie, there's no love in it, and I know you making money off
You
it.
didn't see the whole movie.
You right. When I see
you watch
22
25
minutes
minutes,
of a movie with no love
Yeah.
in it, bro, and you're just making money, I'm like, oh, you just profiting off of hate.
Nah.
You just doing that shit that you say you're against, bro.
You should watch the Giuliani shit though, because it's
Tell me
wild.
about the Giuliani shit. Break down the Giuliani shit.
You want to help here, chime in, anything I miss? This girl, that's female Borat, is interviewing Giuliani.
Yep.
And she's flirting with him a little bit. But
Touching his
Giuliani,
knee and shit. Yeah,
touching his
I watched
knee.
a
But
little
Giuliani's not at all not with it. And then they go into his room. He lays down in the bed. He's like, let me get your name and number. Starts taking off his pants. And it's like,
that's not what he did.
he unzips his pants.
They go to the bedroom and she's taking off his the
Microphone.
mic. So to take off the lapel mic, you have to unbutton your shirt. And then once he buttons his shirt back, he goes, lays back and takes the shirt and tucks it into his pants. It looks like he's just taking his hands and going down and grabbing his dick or whatever the case is. But if you really look at it closely, he is tucking his shirt in.
Yeah, that's what I read.
So
So
he's just an old
they
man who had to
edit it.
lay back in order to tuck his shirt in.
Yeah,
That's the funny
they
part.
edit it in a way that makes him look like he's gonna do some foul shit.
Yeah.
With Shorty, and that's what I'm talking about. Like,
Yeah, they edit another one like they hold hands, but like I think they held hands in order to pray or some shit. But they make it look like he's just like trying to hold her hands or something. Like they're being tricky with it.
Yeah.
and so now
And
you're
I didn't
just
like
lying
that.
about. It's
I didn't
like,
like that shit at all.
that's corny, and
It's
that
like
and
you're using like camera tricks and cuts to make people look
if
bad.
that's
and
the
that,
case,
to
because
me,
I
that-
thought he's laying down.
and most people are
he's
like
ready to
you,
fuck.
and
Yeah.
most people are like you, right? So it's just like
And that's the thing, you know, it's bullshit because it never caught any steam. Nothing ever happened. Like,
Right.
no one really actually looked at it with any credibility because they're like, yeah, it's probably nothing.
that's something that Americans like, and every country should do this. But like, yo, that's family business. And if motherfuckers gonna talk about the family, you better come correct. And if you're using angles and lies and all this other shit to make money off of us talking about the family, I got a little issue with that, man.
And you could tell he was even trying to make it clickbaity because he says, no, that's my daughter. She's 15. Like, this girl looks like a woman. And she's interviewing you as like a fucking news anchor. So why would Giuliani think in his head that I'm being interviewed by a 15-year-old girl? But then he like runs in the room. He's like, no, that's my daughter. She's 15. She's 15. But he's like just saying this in that moment. And Giuliani's like getting up. He's like, he's probably just startled. Like, what the fuck is going on? You see Borat come in with the fucking G-string or some shit like that. So it's just a wild moment. And they just try to make it look way worse than what really happened.
Yeah, corny.
Why is she taking off his lapel mic?
Because they just finished the interview.
Why is she?
That's normal, bro. Like,
Yeah, like sometimes I've had to put lapel
how many
mics
times
on
you,
somebody.
How many
and
times you
take
been
them off.
at MTV filming Guy Code and then they take your shit off? Like literally every episode they would take. The
Yeah,
shit
usually
off.
they just hand it to me and I put it on.
Really, they hide. They don't hide it for you specifically with the clothing that you do, or do a specific sticky thing.
Nah, I usually do it.
Really?
Maybe there's times and I can't remember, but
But there's been
usually
times I've put on a lapel mic on someone. And then I definitely ask them, like, hey, do you want to take this off? Like, if it's a woman or whatever, and a dude. Like, you want to take it off or you want me to put it on? Like, whatever the case is. Like, so, yes, of course she was trying to make it seem like it was something more than it is by touching him and things like that. But it really didn't seem sexual in nature to me.
And he does.
And I'd be honest about
I will say he does some creepy shit where like it's like you can't tell if it's old man shit or if it's him actually being creepy, but he'll like pet her back, Like while he's like sitting there, she like leans over, like takes the lapel off, and he like kind of like pats her back a little bit, like right above her butt. Like it's not like explicitly sexual, but it's kind of like I wouldn't want someone doing that to my girl. Like, you know what I mean?
I'm not defending Giuliani. I saw a little bit just of that because I saw that story popping up. I'm not defending Giuliani. Again, I don't know what he could be.
He might be a creep.
He could be a creep.
I don't think this thing proves it.
Exactly. He could be a creep, and it shows that he's a little creepy, and they could be fucked up in the way that they edit it.
Yeah.
That I can. Yeah.
Both
I'm
things
with
are
that.
wrong. Is that
Yeah.
fair to say?
Yeah. Both things can be true.
Yeah. So it's just like I don't know, man. It's a bummer, man. Because that motherfucker was so funny when we were younger. I used to look up to him.
Fucking
I think it was
chicken
because
in
we
the
were
subway?
young. I think it's because we were young.
Robbie brought up a funny clip. Remember the one where what was the shorty? She was the dancing girl. She did like.
Lunel or whatever.
Nah. She was. He was interviewing this girl. She was on like American Idol, I think, in the beginning. Mm-hmm. She was one of the judges of American Idol.
Paula Abdul.
Paula Abdul.
Oh yeah.
And
the dancing girl.
She was known for dancing.
She was like really good at dancing. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So he's interviewing her, and they don't have any chairs in the room, so he brings some Mexican dudes in from outside, and he asks them to go on all fours, and they sit down on the Mexicans, and then he starts interviewing her, and the first question is, so how do you feel about human rights? Like, that is hilarious. That's a hilarious set piece of comedy.
Clever.
Is that Ali G or Borat?
What was
He used to do Ali G, which is like
Ali G, maybe?
I don't know what the character's supposed to be, but he just interviews these celebs and just asks the most ridiculous
He's like
questions.
a grime, like UK rapper.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I think it's okay to go at celebs with it because those people are asking for like exposure. They're agreeing to be on this because they're like, oh, this will help propel my fame.
Yeah.
Right? The average person that owns a fucking like fishing store.
If he makes fun of everybody, I'm with it. I don't want to do the thing where it's like, oh, they're beneath him, so you can't punch down. Punch down, but punch everywhere. Punch motherfucking everywhere.
Yeah.
You punch at your people and them. Hey man, you punching.
Yeah. I guess I'm just saying it's easier to I'm not against punching down. We love punching down.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
But it's just easier to take advantage of those people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like you coming in with all these camera crews and all this shit. You just kind of like fast talk them and then get the fuck out of there.